Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles. She's out and about today doing some Christmas stuff. We're going to talk about Disney. I am going to give you a daily dose of dismal Disney. And Disney released a Jamie Lee Curtis movie that no one has ever heard of, and it only made $2 million at the box office opening weekend. That is a massive failure for any movie studio. Like, I can't remember the last time I've heard of a studio picture, a major studio picture, making that little. I'm thinking back to Gem, the Gem movie, Gem and the Holograms, like 10 years ago, did about $1.5 million. And if you adjust that for inflation, it's about $2 million. And that did so poorly that Universal pulled it out of the theaters like a week after it debuted. And ironically, that director is the guy who went on to do Wicked and make a bunch of money. So go figure, like, you can get a second chance, I guess. But we're going to talk about this. The box office was not good. And we're only, 2 weekends out from Christmas, and things are not great. And this is why Hollywood is freaking out so much, I think, about the Netflix Warner Brothers merger, because that will cut down on the number of theatrical releases. In fact, one of the theaters here in the Pittsburgh area, they've got all kinds of movies, like old movies. They've been running them pretty much throughout the year. It's like every month they have another old movie, and I think they're doing that to bring in additional revenue because the new stuff coming out of Hollywood is not performing. In fact, this month they have a couple of Christmas movies. You can watch The Grinch. I think a couple places around here. You can watch The Grinch, on the big screen. It's 25 years old, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think a couple places are running like Polar Express, and so it's really interesting. I think people would rather go back to theater to watch old movies, just like arcades. It almost feels like retro arcades. Like, occasionally you get a good game, a good new game or whatever, but people go to the arcade to relive, past good times, days of glory. Kicking some kid's ass in Street Fighter, then getting your ass kicked, and then putting your quarter on the deck, hoping that you'll get another chance. But then the kid that beats you, he's really, really good, and he's like 10, and you're never going to get a chance to play that. So just take your quarter and go home. That's what happened to me. I was trying to practice on Street Fighter Alpha, and there's this kid. His parents, I think, own the one Japanese restaurant in the mall. And he always, he lived at the arcade, and I never could practice Street Fighter Alpha 2 in the arcade. I had to get the home version for PlayStation to be able to practice. Anyway, that's my problem. Let's talk about Disney's problem, which is $2 million opening weekend for a movie from Disney. That's freaking disastrous. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more, MORE, at clownfishtv.com. This is coming from Variety. Zootopia 2 returns to number 1. Okay, so that's Zootopia. That's a whole nother thing. So you can't say Disney's really cannibalizing itself, because these are two different audiences, right? Now, again, to be fair, who the hell has heard of this movie? And this is something they probably should have thrown on Disney Plus or Hulu and not released it theatrically. But, So Zootopia 2 returns to number 1 as Ella McCay suffers one of the worst debuts ever for Disney with only $2 million. Disney is experiencing the highs and lows of the box office. On one hand, the studio's animated sequel Zootopia 2 returned to number 1 in North America in its third weekend after sprinting past $1 billion globally. Now, pretty much every major tentpole that Disney put out for the longest time would hit $800 to $1 billion easy. Zootopia is incredibly popular overseas too, and it's actually pretty good. We gave a good review for those of you who said we are unfair to Disney and we're being, mean to Mickey for no reason. I can think of at least 3 or 4 Disney movies this year we actually gave good reviews to. That would include Zootopia 2. That would include live action Lilo and Stitch, save for the ending, which is ass. That would include, at least on my end, Fantastic Four. I like the Fantastic Four. So, you can sit and spin. I don't care if you're not watching our reviews and people look at the thumbnails and they're like, it's got to be negative because it's always like a yikes face. I'm like, yeah, well, that's YouTube. That is the game. That's how it's played. You got to do yikes face to get people to click because they're already angry before they click. They're like, oh, I bet they're just going to be negative because these middle-aged Republicans hate everything. It's like, no, actually, we like that. I just wanted you to click. because I want paid. That's how the game works. That's how the game works, bitches. Anyway, yeah. So Ella McCay, which is a dramedy, a political dramedy. Oh boy, I want to watch a political dramedy right before Christmas. Cratered with 2.1 million domestic, suffering one of the worst openings in modern history for Disney. To be fair, Ella McCay cost only $35 million to produce. Still, $2 million is a long way off from $35 million. Okay. Most of the studio's movies, including franchises from Marvel and Avatar, as well as family-friendly sensations like Inside Out 2 and Lilo and Stitch, typically carry budgets over $200 million. Although Ella McCay isn't in danger of turning a profit for Disney, the PG-13 misfire probably won't cause heads to roll either. Yeah, I mean, they're going to look at their other movies, and that's how they average everything out. They're like, okay, this one didn't do so hot, but these other two did. So you're going to kind of look at the average of that, but it only cost $35 million. If this movie was like Elio, where it was $200 million, $150 million, and only made like $20 million opening weekend, then yeah, you're screwed, right? And like I said, the guy who actually did Gem, it was John M. Chu, who went on to do Wicked, and he made Universal a shit ton of money. So sometimes these people really do fail upwards. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, the Gem movie was like the worst. It was so bad. All right, so it was written and directed by Simpsons co-creator and as good as it gets filmmaker James L. Brooks. Landed behind already low projections of $4 million. It's not a mystery as to why ticket sales missed the mark. Ella McCay is the kind of mid-budget film that studios hardly make anymore because audiences don't show up to see them. So this is a huge takeaway right here. This is why Hollywood is freaking out. Okay, because these kinds of movies, they're not going to take a chance on anymore. They're going to go direct to streaming. This one probably should have gone direct to streaming. And that's one less movie that theaters have to show, because the theaters like to have, at least 4 or 5 movies at any point in time. So a lot of them are going back to older movies because there might only be a handful of movies in a quarter that are worth a damn. They're worth showing, right? Especially multiple screens. That doesn't happen very often anymore. It has to be a big event movie. But they know they've only got, a couple of movies that are going to make them money. So then they're padding, theaters with older releases. And I'm here for it, man. We've gone to see 3 or 4 old movies this year. We went to go see Dark Crystal, went to go see Casper. Think we're going to go see The Grinch this week. I will do it. I will go see older movies that I know I'm going to enjoy. And that's kind of where we're at. Or maybe movies I've never seen them in the theater before, and there's a lot that you miss, like Dark Crystal. If you've never seen it in the theater, which I did when I was very, very little. I mean, I was very young, like preschool, I think, when it came out. And I have very vague memories of it. Actually, most of my memories with Dark Crystal are from I had the graphic novel, and I had the book and record. That's where most of my memories from it were. But if you see it on the big screen, you see so much more detail. You see the intricacies of the craftsmanship, because everything was made by hand, and it's pretty amazing to see on the big screen. I mean, sometimes you see some wires or whatever, but so there is definitely a reason to go to the theater to go see these movies, in my opinion. But yeah, they said this one's a comedic drama about a young politician who unexpectedly becomes her state's governor. Was roundly rejected by critics, a 24% Rotten Tomatoes average, and moviegoers, B-. Ella McCay continues a miserable box office run for Brooks after 2004 Spanglish. Oh, was that the, yeah. That was Adam Sandler, right? $55 million against an $80 million budget, and 2010's How Do You Know? However, the Oscar winner could end his theatrical dry spell with Disney in 20th Century's The Simpsons movie in 2020. So wait, he's doing a Simpsons movie? Again? Oh, a Simpsons movie sequel. Why? Why are we doing another Simpsons? The Simpsons was great. It had 10, 12 seasons in the movie, and that's it. And a great video game. And that's it. We don't need any more Simpsons. So James L. Brooks defined character storytelling in the 80s and 90s with a string of award-winning comedy dramas. And Zootopia 2, after ceding the top spot to Universal and Blumhouse's horror sequel Five Nights at Freddy's 2, returned to first place. The family-friendly adventure had grossed $259 million domestic and $1.13 globally. Damn. It was only the second Hollywood release this year to cross the $1 billion mark. It used to be Disney like every other movie they put out. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 slid to second place with $19.5 million, a brutal 70% drop from a $64 million debut. That's rough, but not as bad as the original. Well, the original was on Peacock too the same day. But Five Nights at Freddy's 2 only cost $36 million. Now, I heard it wasn't as good as the first one. We actually didn't go see it. We did go see the first one. We didn't go see the second one. Wicked for Good remained at number 3 with $8.5 million in its fourth weekend, a 51% decline. It's still doing good, but not nearly as good as the predecessor. So Wicked for Good appears to be running out of steam much faster than its predecessor, 2024's Wicked, which powered to $474 million in North America and $758 million globally. And it's only at 400. Wow, that's bad. It's only at $467 million globally. So it's going to command at like almost half. Let's see here. Hamnet did 1.4. Why does Hamnet stand out at the specialty box office? Okay, so after this glum weekend, overall ticket sales sit at $8.1 billion, a mere 0.5% ahead of last year, as well as 22.7% behind 2019. Okay, this is why Hollywood's freaking out. The box office is 22% behind 2019, and we're talking inflation. You have to factor inflation into that. Things have never gone back to normal since the pandemic. Like, the pandemic broke the movie-going experience. It broke people's brains. It made a lot of shut-ins. It made a lot of people not want to leave their houses anymore, and they got used to streaming. They got used to staying at home, watching all the big releases at home. You can go buy a freaking 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever inch TV at Walmart for under $1,000. Well under $1,000. Get yourself a sound bar. You know, sit at home. You can pause it. You don't have to pay a babysitter. You know, I'm just saying, it's a lot cheaper for most people to just watch movies at home. It's in some ways it probably is a more enjoyable experience. I like going to the theater. I do like going to the theater, but for me, it's almost become like arcades. It's kind of a nostalgia hit, right? I go to the theater because I like to go and get the ticket, but it doesn't feel the same. I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't feel the same. You don't have the lines of people wrapped around the block like there used to be for, you know, the new Star Wars movies or whatever. I mean, hell, Star Wars isn't even Star Wars. And The Mandalorian's not going to do that good. I don't think it's going to do that good. But, yeah, there we go, guys. This is why Hollywood's freaking out so much about the Netflix deal. Everything is changing, and there are going to be a lot fewer releases. And there we go. So don't cry for Disney, though. I think Avatar is going to do good, too. So they'll be all right. They'll be okay. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.